his oinkle has an adamant nature. I end up doing that since it has pretty good attack. Speaking of that, let me go ahead and double check back into that. Because that was one of the reasons why I ended up choosing it. Alright, there we go. Gotta pull up a few statistics real quick. Yeah, so I ended up choosing it because of his 115 base attack. I've been back and forth between deciding if I wanted to do the female one or the male one. The female one ends up having more health, so that's always good. But the male one does have more attack, so having that 100 for that EV of attack might be a little bit better. So if you ever see me swap up between the two, that's the reason. But I still want to get more in with this. Since I think there's some things I can still figure out. I do need to get an ability patch so I can go ahead and swap that Aroma Veil. But accordingly, the Aroma Veil has been putting in some type of work. So I've been liking that. So one of the things I do like so far is, especially even though it has the 90, even though the female version has the 90 attack, the regular one, the HP has 115. So I'm liking the survivability of it. That's why I combine that with leftovers. And then so after I combine that with leftovers, that means a little bit more survivability and a couple more attacks. So sometimes, as the more I think about it, since I'm still a beginner as far as when it comes to a majority of on-console PvP things, I'm thinking that survivability sometimes can outlast being able to attack. Because if you can constantly get one more attack in, that means I get one more chance. As I said though, many of these things probably may change as I swap back and forth between the male and the female versions. Or who knows, I might just joke around and throw both of them on the same team, see how that goes. That'd be a complete swap up. Or if I could though, we'll see. But yeah, do the leftovers on so that way I can keep a little bit more bulk. Got up to level 100. This is one of the things I use for a lot of my raid battles, but I'm working on getting it more and more into PvP battles. So first off, explain the moveset. I got Yarn. Since it has a lot of bulk, it doesn't usually get one shot. I haven't had a battle yet where it got one shotted. So usually that Yarn benefits me tremendously, especially with it being able to survive. So I only put about 4 IVs into speed. I might double back on the IVs though, and then give it a little bit more into special defense, since I'm noticing that the more and more I look at it, that special defense is like really high. And as I said, survivability giving more chances is really worth it over just being able to attack. So the Yarn, so that way I can have one status effect. I got the Zen Headbutt, so that way I can go against things like Annihilate or other fighting types, since I noticed that a lot of this meta is physical. Me and Nobunaga was really talking about that, about how there's more physical attackers in most of the meta. So most of those tend to sometimes branch off into being fighting types. So I keep the Zen headbutt around. I used to have body slam, but then having the status effect in yarn and having the status effect in body slam, it really didn't pan out. And then not to mention just the fact of I can get more damage out of takedown than I can out of body slam. Then that's one of those moments where I rather go for that rather than giving my opponents more chances. I took the body press, so that way if I'm versus anything that's weak to fighting, I'll be able to go ahead and throw a little bit on damage with that. What I've been noticing lately is that it's been really helping when I go against terrestrialized Dragonite, because I noticed that they don't usually expect that. Or overall, I guess they don't usually expect Oinkle, but that really comes as a surprise. So I've been liking how that's been working in. So that's one of my tanks on my team. So let me go ahead and move that over there. I've been playing with it so much in raids that they end up taking it off. So and then of course you have to have an Annihilate. 1 second. So yes, have my Annihilate. I have it holding Shell Bill. One of the reasons why I did that is especially since I have Drain Punch. I like that when I have to swap it up a little bit, I can grab some of the extra health. This is the reason why I threw the bulk up on there, so that way I can get it into setting up. Initially, I was going to try to go after this one Japanese build that I saw when I was watching a Japanese stream, where he had let's see, what did he have? He had Encore, Substitute, Drain Punch, and Rage Fist. Now, I may toss back on the Shadow Claw. I may toss back on the Rage Punch. But that's another thing that I'm testing. But currently right now, I've been liking the Protect and the Bulk Up. Protect especially for those first turns, or when I feel like something's going to try to terrestrialize, or I don't know how they're going to swing. So I just use the Protect and guard myself that quick turn. Bulk Ups has been really good. So once I get in there with those physical attackers, he can move around, especially with the Drain Punch. And then I've been noticing that the Shell Bell has been really helping out with that Drain Punch. So when I go against other Annihilates, then I can consistently always keeping the ability of healing. I may swap out that inner focus and go back to Anger Point, so that way it can boost up with Bulk Up, which would be a really, really good combo. So, Kilowatt Truck. This one was suggested to me by one of the members in the Pokemon Scarlet Discord that I'm in. Because originally I tried to do Luxray. I kept on having problems with Luxray because I kept on running into the situations of its speed. So whenever it got a hit off, completely did well. When it couldn't its speed was constantly the problem. So, oh yeah, and for the for annihilate the atom in nature. Forgot to say that. And then, oh, that's right. I do gotta go get that. Yeah, so I'm gonna end up doing that on stream real quick. I'm gonna end up grabbing the timid flower, so that way we can get that started up. But so with kilowatt, yeah, the person suggested that if I wanted to actually have a speed attacker, that I should use kilowatt. So I end up going for kilowatt. Even with the docile nature, I started noticing that I was getting pretty good hits in. So I was able to actually like work around my oinkle, especially around like the yawn. And having the expert bell on it has been like super good versus like certain Murkrow teams. So I really wanna put more time into testing this team out and seeing how good it is against a lot of the common tailwind starters. So that'll help me notice a pretty good difference in a lot of things that's happening. So set up his Protect, Hurricane, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch. Now, in the possible future, one of these may be getting swapped out for Tailwind. I really like the dynamic of Protect, especially on like Pokemon like this. Because I remember I was talking with another player, and when he was speaking to me about when you never know if they had that first turn terrestrialization, it's really good on Protect. So I've been working around that. Hurricane for the stab, I really picked it because I initially thought that it hits both enemies, but it come to find out it doesn't. That was kind of disappointing. I'm gonna have to look through a lot of the moves to start seeing what around is like good for double attackers, and see what I can pick from there. Thunderbolt, I was thinking about Thunder, but then since I have the expert belt and I did the math, I don't think I want to chance I think it's 80% accuracy or 70, but I didn't want to chance not having 100% accuracy. So, and then Volt Switch, so in case I run into an unfavorable matchup, gotta always have that in the back. So real quick, let's go ahead and grab that timid flower, because it's gonna bug me real quick. Probably should check that I had no money first. Alright, I think I do. Alright, so timid. Oh yeah, Speaking of that, I didn't even show y'all the EVs. Yeah, you know, yeah, I'll swap that too on stream. So let's see. First, well, you know, we're gonna grab it. All right, so out here, and then timid. Oh wow, should check my inventory. All right, now I got that. I'll take this ability capsule. Wait, what? Wait, I thought it was it. I must have read that wrong, but that works a little bit better as long as I don't counter that most Pokemon people been talking about. So, okay, throw that back in the battle box. Alright, speaking of that, gotta show the EVs and IVs. Oh, that's good. So yeah. End up doing that so I can keep them alive. Alright, and then same thing on that. Alright, so this is where you get into, well, I'm still testing out things. So King's Rock, a Flamingo. I may swap this around, still considering on it. But I end up throwing a wide guard on it, so that way, in case I encounter a Goldingo, then I can throw this in there on the Make It Rain, and then get rid of that. So that way I can work on trying to get rid of that Pokemon. So let's see. Then I got Throat Chop, in case I encounter the Fire Starter. I was gonna get rid of it, but then after I started seeing how much utility it is to get rid of sound moves and to be a dark move, I can't really pass that up. So low kick in case I face anybody who's like heavy or who's weak to fighting moves. Brave Bird for the stab, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Adamant Nature. Alright, so these two are my very questionable ones. Bring them out on certain things if I think that I'm gonna get flooded. So if I think there's gonna be a heavy amount of physical attacks, then I'll most likely bring this one so I can throw down the Reflect, mitigate a lot of damage. Got the Shadow Sneak for the priority, Moon Blast for the stab, and especially so that way I can get rid of certain dark types. It turned out to be extremely helpful too when I went against an Umbreon. I was so glad I had this. Psyche for the regular stab, and then oh yeah, it came out with the Adamant Nature, but I gave it a Modest Mint. So, this is my wild card right here. Still testing this up. I need to get that ability patch and the ability patch so that way I can swap this to the Moxie because I think I'll definitely use it more. So that's one of the goals is to get rid of the whole tournament, the whole school tournament, so that way I can start doing a lot of level 6 raids and then grind out to get that ability patch. So got the standard on it, crunch for the psychic stab or for the ghost stab, dragon dance for the setup, ice fang for a lot of the Pokemon who will be weak to ice. I really wish, or I need to look through his moveset and find out if he can learn Fire Fang. If you can, that would be extremely good, because especially Dragon Dance and the Fire Fang. Waterfall for the stab and the flinch. So that's the usual. Speaking of that though, I probably should swap this King's Rock it. You know what, speaking of that, let me do some research real quick. Let's double check into that. Waterfall with King's Rock. How much would I increase my flinch? So according to Reddit, King's Rock doesn't stack with moves that flinch. I can see that. Oh yeah, by the way, I got the wise glasses on this. So that's my team. And then we're gonna start getting into some of the battles.